Good afternoon, I am Precious Nzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Midday News. The headlines. Zambia's bondholders reject request to delay interest payments as government regrets the outcome. And PF mobilization member advises party against tribal remarks targeted at other groupings. Details coming through after this commercial. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua, the Healing Word Ministries International.
Starting on the 3rd to 6th December 2020.
Dr. Francis Miles from the USA returns to Zambia for a conference on issuing restraining orders.
Because you see, God responds to your revelation. So if you approach God as the healer, He heals you. If you approach Him as your shepherd, He will touch your soul. But if you approach Him judicially, He will show you He's the cause.
Venue: the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Time:
17 hours to 19 hours from Thursday to Saturday.
And on Sunday from 09 hours to 11 hours. For more details, call +260 962 965 883. You do not want to miss this conference this time. And now the news in detail. Holders of Zambia's $3 billion of euro bonds have rejected government's proposal to suspend interest payments for 6 months, Finance Minister Ngandu has said. The minister, however, says the decision taken by bondholders is regrettable, leaving the country with no choice but to agree on a consensual standstill or run up arrears while government designs a plan to put the debt on a sustainable trajectory. Dr. Ngandu has since assured bondholders that government remains committed to finding a consensual and collaborative resolution to debt sustainability issues. The government that skipped a $42.5 billion coupon on 14th October 2020 now has until the end of Friday to either pay the arrears or trigger a default which could leave the country shut out of debt markets for some time. Earlier in Parliament, before the news of bondholders' refusal to defer Zambia's debt, Vice President Inonga Wina was optimistic that some positive news would come out of the negotiation. Ms. Wina assured the nation that Zambia was or is not going to default on its date. Friday, the 13th, 2020 was the last day for Zambia to pay $42 million to bondholders. Details in the following report.
The kwacha is losing value to the dollar, not because of the imports our owner is talking about, because it's been like that for years and years, but because of excessive debt servicing. My question this morning is, today is the last day to pay $42 million to the bond holders. Are we paying or are we defaulting? Thank you.
Yeah. Honor the Vice President.
Mr. Speaker, this country is not ready to default. And I can assure the honorable member that Zambia will not default. We were informed in the House that the Minister of Finance was in negotiations with the bond holders. Whatever result comes out of that discussion or the negotiations, the country will be informed, and a way forward will be found in meeting Zambia's obligations to the bondholders and the other lenders that supported Zambia in her hour of need. So, Mr. Speaker, the country is not defaulting. I thank you, sir.
The Honourable Leader of Opposition and Member of Parliament for Moses Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, a follow-up to the question that has been raised by Honorable Musogotwani, the UPND whip. Your Honor, the Vice President, Honorable Musogotwani was very categorical pertaining to the question he asked, and he did indicate that by today, the 13th, we are supposed to pay 45.8 million US dollars to the lenders. If we don't pay today, we'll be in default. Can you be categorical and tell the nation whether we are defaulting or we are paying? Because this particular issue affects the economy of the country. Can you be categorical so that you assure the people of Zambia?
Honor the Vice President.
Mr. Speaker, we are all concerned about the economy of the country, but the Minister of Finance will give a statement to this effect. I can also assure the honorable member that this country is not defaulting. I thank you.
In other news, Lusaka District Commissioner David Silubanji says indiscriminate disposal of garbage is what is causing flooding in the district. Speaking in an interview with Camnet TV News at his office, Mr. Silubanji explains that despite government spending huge sums of money in constructing drainages, the desired results are being frustrated by the people themselves. Mr. Silubanji says the Lusaka City Council LCC has been engaged in constant unblocking of drainages in the district, which he says should not be the case. He has since appealed to Lusaka residents to exercise self-discipline when disposing of waste. With the onset of the rains, Lusaka has already witnessed some places, especially in the central business district, getting floods.
But what has created, what is the problem is throwing of garbages into these drainages. For instance, Kabe roundabout, you have seen of late through the Lusaka City Council, they have been unblocking that area. That means every year we have to unblock, unfortunately. Every year we have to do unblocking. So we have done the unblocking at Kabe roundabout. Very soon we will be seeing these floods will no longer be there. I'm sure we will wait and see this red season. I know there are other compounds which are normally experiencing this, such as Kanyama and the part of Chawama. I can tell you part of Chawama, there are excellent jobs which have been done, especially there are two major drainages. One is coming from the so-called blue water. The other one is coming from the shopping mall. There's that new shopping mall just by the flyover bridge there.
Tourism and Arts Minister Ronald Chitotela has been sued in the Lusaka High Court for allegedly failing to pay over 390,000 kwacha rentals. According to documents filed in court, Charles Mpundu, who is a proprietor of plot number 291 in Kawamba, Luapula Province, wants the court to order Mr. Chitotela to vacate the property due to failure to settle rental arrears. Mr. Mpundu has also demanded that Mr. Chitotela should pay interest in all sums found due, any other relief that the court may deem fit, and cost. According to the document filed, Mr. Mpundu has stated that Mr. Chitotela was a tenant of his property which was leased as a warehouse from September 2017. He states that the said property was leased at an agreed rent of 10,000 kwacha per month. He further explains in his submission that on 15th April 2020, he advised Mr. Chitotela through a letter of his decision to increase the rent to 16,000. Mr. Mpundu says on 25th of November 2019, he gave Mr. Chitotela a 6-month notice to vacate the premises on ground that he had persistently defaulted on rent payments. He states that Mr. Chitotela owes 397,000 kwacha rental arrears, adding that the amount will continue to accumulate at 16,000 kwacha per month. He further explains that the rents due are 10,000 per month from September 2017 to April 2019 for 20 months and 16,000 per month from May 2019 to October 2020. A member of the ruling Patriotic Front PF's mobilization team has advised her party against constant tribal remarks targeted at the Tonga-speaking people. Miss Christine Piri, popularly known as Mama East, hails from Eastern Province, says it's uncalled for in a country which preaches peace to continue seeing relentless attacks on a tribe that has over the years proved to be productive. Miss Piri, a former diplomat to Nigeria, says instead of admonishing the Tongas, those belittling them should instead be heeding their principles of love amongst each other. Ms. Piri said this at a media briefing in Lusaka Friday morning.
It is such language which has forced the ruling Patriotic Front PF National Mobilization member Christine Piri, commonly known as Mama East, to come out and call for an end to this, saying her party cannot continue on this trajectory.
I've heard people, even senior leaders, talk about Tongas. No, mutonga teteke muno. Iyo umutonga chalo chenu nangu nimwebo balesa. You see, now I want to address the Tongas. I want to tell the Tongas that please cool down. I'm compelled to do this because, you know, I know anger is mounting, rage is mounting, you know, strife is mounting. There's no doubt. People are afraid in this country. Mayhem is being brought, you know, so we don't want to go that way as Zambians.
She says being a Christian nation, such language should never have room in Zambia.
Youth needs to know that we got independence because there's a Tonga man who sacrificed for Kaunda to get independence. I'm saying this to youths who have been misled to say no, abatonga bali itemwa, tabali itemwa abatonga. Abatonga bali itemwa poko bafuma kumwabo. It's good. Not if itwaba ifo kuchipata tatumfwana. We are just jealousy. Eastern Province. Do you feel a jealousy? Tatua itemwa nangu pamo. So bushefo tetuzambi ne kubatongo ku itemwa. We need to learn from the Tongas. Therefore, as for me personally, I want even other Zambians to hear this, that Tongas are special people.
Ms. Piri says a statement should not be seen to have been bought or paid by the opposition to say this, but rather it's her conscience driving her, as her heart is not at peace to see a tribe being demonized day in, day out by a party which she belongs to.
I know maybe people are going to say, look, she has been funded even to do a press briefing. Yeah. Maybe by UPNZ or so. I'm just talking about the word of God that let us not segregate. No. You need the wisdom of God to understand that there is rage brewing. There is anger in the other camp. Abantu nabafulu twala abapanga abantu ababawino bakabe ababipa. As a matter of fact, even in this fear kanya no ukumuye mukuchita campaign uku don't do this, we don't. If peradventure lesa achinje finto fiachinja. Now if those people start to reciprocate to do what we are doing, what will happen to us?
According to her, Zambians must emulate the love that exists among the Tongas.
Reflect. You are supposed to mfuniko kondana. Mfuniko kondana mwamene muna badwila. So natonga na bebe mwamene wachokela kwa wafuniko kondana. Na ise kwa tuku East instant tufunika okondana. Even pochita chimbuya isechatu chimbuya na babemba ni chami knife. Sweetheart, love, what we don't mean it, but look at the tongas and the losses. Na vena northwest na chani pa umbuya wao. Veve chimbuya chao, they mean business. You know, veve chimbuya chao, they mean business. They are straight people. You know, balabali temane chachini. Akankalapa, limina alo mbuya, shimunenga what? Bakwiliza na batonga na balozi na pachimbuya chalo. Nomba isi chimbuya chatu babemba, ni chameno ameno mafupa. Ameno mafupa ndiye chimbuya chatu ise.
Well, that news item brings us to the end of Camnet TV Midday News, but before we go, the headlines once again. Zambia's bondholders reject request to delay interest payments as government regrets the outcome. PF mobilization member advises party against tribal remarks targeted at other groupings. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Thank you for joining me. Good afternoon.